Thank you, Heather, and on behalf of all the partners in the UK Anti-Corruption Coalition and our Illicit Finance Working Group, my thanks to all of you here tonight for your interest and your support in tackling economic crime. For more than 20 years, businesses have been our first line of defence against dirty money. So it is vital that the private sector has the tools and the information they need shared, and regulators and law enforcement have the resources and capacity they need if we are to mount an effective partnership together against economic crime. As RUSI's Transatlantic Task Force on Illicit Finance has concluded, both the United States and the United Kingdom need to be honest about their own vulnerabilities and audit the toolbox available to them in tackling illicit finance. Last week at Chatham House, I was talking with businesses about Russia sanctions. Now, these weren't huge corporates and they weren't part of the regulated financial sector. And I heard them explain how hard they found it to know who really was behind the companies that make up their own clients. You see, the now widely discredited World Bank Ease of Doing Business rankings really were measuring the wrong thing. How much it costs and how long it takes to register a new company doesn't determine the ease of doing business. Having confidence that your potential suppliers, investors, and yes, customers are indeed who they say they are matters much more to the work of actually doing business. That's why the customers of the company registrar at Companies House aren't so much the companies that file the required information, but the very many business people every day who use the information published on the register to support due diligence in the course of their business. We need to appreciate the company register as part of our country's information infrastructure that helps people do business here with confidence. The problem is that very little of the information published is checked for accuracy first. I expect we'll hear from UK Finance later how in its current form the banks, with their very substantial anti-money laundering responsibilities, simply can't rely on this information. And they spend a lot of money on alternatives. That's money which small businesses simply can't afford. So addressing the weaknesses of our company register, as intended by the bill that's now before members of Parliament, will, dare I say, level up access to quality information so that everyone doing business in Britain can have confidence that they know who they are doing business with. That's why it's critical that we get these reforms right now and don't put off difficult questions to later. There's a very real risk that in improving oversight of limited companies, we make it even more attractive to abuse other company structures such as limited liability partnerships. Transparency International just last week published a report, Partners in Crime, where one of my colleagues, Ben Cowder, give us a wave, Ben, trawled through thousands upon thousands of limited liability partnerships that have been registered in this country and found them to have corporate partners that were the corporate partners of limited liability partnerships that appeared in the Danske Bank scandal, the Azerbaijani laundromat, and countless other major money laundering schemes. Now, none of these reforms will matter if the resources aren't there to implement them well, and if there simply isn't the capacity to enforce the laws made here in Parliament. A recent report from Spotlight on Corruption highlighted that the UK spends the equivalent of just 0.042% of GDP on national level economic crime enforcement bodies, despite the fact that, as you've heard, economic crime is estimated to cost the UK hundreds of times more than that. So we have many colleagues and partners here tonight who are on hand to help you with the thorny details of these issues. So please do speak to them over drinks, whether about how to get Companies House reform right, the importance of resources for enforcement, or the challenges of raising the quality of anti-money laundering supervision. These are all essential parts of the response to economic crime. And it really is time that we fought this economic crime campaign like we mean to win.